Heat 1A, 5 boats on the water. It would be Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto, the red and green boat, the familiar colors of the Oberto Sausage Company, right here in Seattle. Nate Brown in the yellow and blue Miss Emcor, looking very good, the Gold Cup winner, looking for a good weekend here. Ken Muscatel in the all-black Silver Dollar Casinos Miss Rock. Steve Hook's boat is bright green, Miss Beacon Plumbing. He's a rookie, looking good this weekend so far. Greg Hopp and the Toyota of Kirkland, the familiar Captain America red, white, and blue paint job of Team Leland. For Steve David, trouble began in the first turn. He was called for moving in on Nate Brown. His rooster tail putting out the fire aboard the U-10. Steve David in second place as the boats went up the backstretch, but the officials put him back in fifth. A very painful penalty for Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto. Just as painful for Nate Brown, who had no chance to compete after being washed down. He was fifth on the race course, fourth after the penalty to Steve David. Out front, it was Steve Hook and Miss Beacon Plumbing leading after the first lap. He was passed by his teammate Greg Hopp, the Toyota of Kirkland boat, taking first after the second lap. Those two would battle virtually deck to deck throughout the 4 laps. The win finally going to the rookie, Steve Hook and Miss Beacon Plumbing. Teammate Greg Hopp in the Toyota of Kirkland settling back into second place. Ken Muscatel in the Silver Dollar Casino boat was third. Nate Brown got restarted to finish fourth, and the penalized Steve David would wind up in fifth place. A rookie driver in the winner's circle in Heat 1A of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. Heat 1B runs Saturday afternoon here in Seattle. The weather not as good as it is here today. On Sunday, it was all Vilwalk. He put Miss Budweiser into lane 1 and cruised to a relatively easy victory. It was eventful for J.W. Myers in the Lumar window film. Coming through the infield before the start, tracking Dave Vilwalk toward the backstretch, but when he got there, Terry Troxel was already there. Myers had to shut down or hit Troxel's orange boat. J.W. had to restart, actually did a pretty good job of that, made a good start, and was giving chase when he got the boat very, very loose. Knocked the power out of the engine, had to restart again. So 2 restarts for J.W. Myers, still ending up in third place, following Dave Vilwalk, who had first place points. Terry Troxel running second after giving chase in Miss Elam Plus. All 5 boats finished. J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking boat was fourth. Doug Brow in the Skyway Park Bowl and Casino, fifth. In 2A, Steve David will be on the water, driving the Oh Boy Oberto, the red and green boat. Nate Brown and the U-10, the yellow and blue Miss Emcor. Terry Troxel and Miss Elam Plus, our fastest qualifier, coming into this heat with 30 points after a second place finish. Greg Hopp will be in the blue boat. It's actually red, white, and blue, the Toyota of Kirkland entry. And J. Michael Kelly, the rookie, in the Seattle boat presents Graham Trucking. Mark Evans are going to tell J. Michael to stay outside of lane 3. Other than that, he can do some battling. They just don't want him in lane 1 or 2 until he has a little more time in that race boat.
That's right. He's going through his rookie status there, and he still needs a little bit more time. But boy, I was just noticing Steve David is really early getting up there. They're all actually kind of early, so he's going to have to swing really wide. It looked like he had the inside lane, but then he swung way wide. It's just crazy.
Steve David is way up near the home of his sponsor, Art Oberto, here on the shore of Lake Washington. He has to go very wide now to scrape off some speed. After being on the inside, he's going to be way outside and plowing water as they come down toward start-finish. Terry Troxel is leading the field at this point. Nate Brown right beside him in the U-10, Miss Emcor. They appear to be about on time with the possible exception of Steve David. He may have been a little early as we see him cross start-finish right as the clock was changing. Mark, it may have already changed, but it's Greg Hopp on the inside. Terry Troxel leading the field through the first turn, and here comes Miss Elam Plus. Look at this boat handle this rough water.
He was going pretty good, but man, I can't emphasize how early they seem to be to me. But Troxel got out there and got his boat out front, and Greg's trying to catch him on the inside.
Up the backstretch, it's Terry Troxel leading this heat, and Miss Elam Plus. Greg Hopp is off to his left. Nate Brown, you see between boats in the yellow and blue boat. They are halfway up the backstretch. A lot of speed in this heat, Mark. Oh, Nate Brown's in trouble. He's in the rooster tail. He may have gone over. I believe we have an accident in the north turn. I saw yellow sponsons high in the air, Mark. I believe, yes, we have. We've lost a boat. We have an accident here in Heat 2A. Nate Brown is floating upside down.
He was just back a little bit, man, and he must have got into Terry's skid fin spray or into his wake or something, but he was back enough to where he wasn't up there with him, and something happened. He got upside down.
So we put Heat 2A back in the water minus the U10 Miss Emcor. That left Steve David and the old boy Oberto a bit of another chance, as he did not make a good start the first time out. Terry Troxel and Miss Elam Plus was the leader when the accident happened. He will be in the restart, as will Greg Hopp in the blue boat that was running in lane 1, Miss Toyota of Kirkland, and the rookie J. Michael Kelly in the Seattle boat presents Graham Trucking. And the entire story of this heat would be right at the start, where the 3 veterans jumped the gun, and didn't just jump it, they were over by about 3 seconds. That's a bad jump by 3 guys who should know better, and the rookie J. Michael Kelly sitting back, believing his clock, trusting his own stuff, the only legal starter. And that left J. Michael 4th on the water, but first at the finish of Heat 2A. The final order of finish, J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking picking up first place and 40 points. Second place going to Terry Troxel, the leader on the water, but he was among the 3 boats penalized a lap for jumping the gun. Third would go to Greg Hopp in the Toyota of Kirkland, and Steve David's tough day would continue. 17 points for a 4th place finish. Heat 2B, 5 boats once again scheduled to go. There would only be 4. Doug Brow and the Skyway Park Bowl and Casino dead in the water before the start. So a disappointing day for Doug in his 2nd Seafair. First place, well, it was Dave Vilwalk and Miss Budweiser going to the front and staying there, scoring another 40 points with relative ease. J.W. Myers in the Lumar window film was 3rd out of the first turn and up the backstretch, chasing Ken Muscatel and the Silver Dollar Casino Miss Rock. Ken early on in 2nd place, but J.W. would eventually get by him and take over 3rd. In fact, Muscatel would eventually drop to 4th. Steve Hook and Miss Beacon Plumbing running 4th most of the heat would pass Dr. Muscatel in lap 4 and take 3rd place. So this is the way they finish. Dave Vilwalk, another first place finish, 40 more points. 2nd place going to J.W. Myers in the Lumar window film. 3rd to Steve Hook and Miss Beacon Plumbing. 4th to Ken Muscatel in the Silver Dollar Casino Miss Rock. A did not start for Doug Brow in the Skyway Park Bowl and Casino.